Hello everyone, welcome to Hiral's Homespun Tales. Today I'm making Penne Arrabiata, and Arrabbiata in Italian literally means angry. So we are making Penne Pasta in Fury Arrabbiata sauce. So let's get started. So the first step would be to boil pasta, and for that I've taken nearly 1 liter of water, and to it I'm adding some salt, and we would allow the water to boil. Meanwhile, in another pan, I would add in some water to blanch a few tomatoes, and I would make a X mark at the base of the tomatoes. And when the water starts boiling, we would add these tomatoes inside and blanch them for nearly 1 minute. So drop the tomatoes gently and cover and boil it for nearly 1 minute. So on the other side also the water has started boiling. So add in the penne pasta, give it a stir and allow it to boil on high flame for nearly 8 to 10 minutes. So after almost a minute, you can see that the skin has already started peeling. So take out the tomatoes and drop them directly into cold water. So that would make it easier to peel the tomatoes. So you can see how easily we are able to peel off the skin. So remove the peel from all the tomatoes and chop them roughly. So I'm just removing the top part of the tomatoes and chopping them. And out of these chopped tomatoes, I'm reserving a few for a chunky texture in our pasta. So keep it aside, and the rest of the tomatoes go in a blender jar to make it into a fine puree. So our tomato puree is ready, and let's check the pasta as well. So they're almost 80% cooked, just a few more seconds. In the meanwhile, in another pan, take around 1 tablespoon of oil. Make sure the oil is not too hot, and add in finely chopped garlic. We don't want to brown the garlic, just sweating it a little, and add in finely chopped onions. This is roughly 1 medium-sized onion, and once they turn a bit translucent, we are going to add in the chopped tomatoes first, which we had reserved. So in goes the tomatoes and saute it for nearly a minute, and after that we would add in the tomato puree. Give it a nice stir and combine everything together. Make sure the flame is medium to high, and now we would add in a few chili flakes, dried oregano, salt to taste, black pepper powder, and I have a few fresh basil leaves. So I'm just roughly tearing them and adding it in. Give it a nice stir. You can always adjust the spiciness as per your liking. So you can add in more of chili flakes and black pepper powder as per your taste. And now I'm adding a few sliced black olives and reserving few for garnishing. Black olives are optional, but then I like them with penne pasta. So I'm just adding in a few. And now it's time to cook the tomato puree. So cover it and cook it for nearly 2 to 3 minutes until the oil separates. Pasta is done and it's time to strain it. And let's check the tomato puree. It's quite well cooked. As you can see, the oil has started floating on the surface. And now we would add grated processed cheese. You can add in Parmesan if it is handy. Else Processed cheese would also be fine. Give it a nice stir until the cheese melts. And once the cheese has melted completely, we would add in the pasta. Toss it and mix it well with the sauce. Ideally, penne arrabbiata is not very saucy, but if you do prefer it extra saucy, you can use the puree of a few more tomatoes. Once the pasta is nicely coated in the arrabbiata sauce, it's time to plate it. So here's our penne arrabbiata, garnished with a few slices of black olives, some grated cheese, and a few basil leaves. You can have garlic bread as an accompaniment with penne arrabbiata. So give my recipe a try, and for more interesting recipes, subscribe to my channel.